The late 1980s were an interesting time for the consumer side of the computer industry. It was the beginning of a time when absolutely everyone wanted to be plugged in. It was also not long after the first wave of tech-savvy computer users worked their way through the complicated pitfalls of build-your-own-kit computers and turned their attention to pre-configured turnkey systems Grandma and Grandpa could use after a couple hours of reading. Such diversity of skill levels was challenging for manufacturers like Tandy, and this Tandy 1000TX shows how they could offer power and flexibility to users while keeping prices affordable. Hey guys, it's Jacob with Tandy Lab, and today we are going to be taking a first look at this Tandy 1000TX from 1988. It's a strange mixture of old and new, which is why it is both a good and bad thing. Be sure to stay until the end to see if this computer still works. The 1000TX was similar to the original 1000, but with a faster processor and 2 more expansion slots. For computer buyers in 1988, buying a 1000TX was like buying an old budget system that someone had already upgraded. It did have some options for further upgrades, but often the older XT-style architecture prevented add-ons from being used to their full potential. While the Tandy 1000TX had a 286 for a processor, it was not a true 16-bit system like the IBM AT, which had already been around for 4 years when the 1000TX came along. This, however, was not a problem for Tandy, since most beginners who were likely to purchase a system like the 1000TX weren't likely to dive into PC architecture enough to know the difference. That's not to say the Tandy 1000TX wasn't a good value. For $1,199, or about $2,600 in today's money, you get a system that was reasonably powerful with a 286 CPU and a math coprocessor. But if you wanted to upgrade to something like color graphics with a 16-bit GPU, it could only handle 8-bit data transfer because of the 1000TX's 8-bit ISA bus. What the Tandy 1000TX did offer was a low-cost base system with the ability to run nearly any IBM-compatible software and upgrade to nearly any standard components. But the system just wouldn't be as fast as a cutting-edge late 80s power system, no matter what you put into it. Despite this, the Tandy 1000TX was somewhat designed to be upgraded. It was the first Tandy system to provide the option to disable the onboard graphics by using dip switches. It also had slots on the motherboard for adding up to 128 kilobytes of RAM to the existing 640 kilobytes it came with. But this added RAM was dedicated to video only. This would presumably reduce the bottleneck caused by the limited 8-bit ISA bus. So what's inside the case? The Tandy 1000TX had a 286 CPU running at 8 MHz, a 287 math coprocessor, 640 kilobytes of RAM with slots for 128 kilobytes of video memory, a DMA controller which helped with disk access times and software compatibility, and 5 8-bit expansion slots and a 67-watt power supply. For graphics, you had a 640 by 200 resolution and 40 or 80 column text modes. Installed in one of the two 5¼ drive bays is a 3.5-inch 720 kilobyte floppy disk drive, while the other was not used in the base configuration. Our system is fitted with a 32 megabyte Tandy hard card, which is a hard disk drive and drive controller on a board designed to fit in an ISA slot. The Tandy 1000TX had onboard 3-channel sound with volume control for the internal speaker. There is also a headphone jack in the front with its own volume knob. Tandy offered MS-DOS 3.2 and GW Basic, as well as Personal DeskMate 2. Looking at the outside, you can see the Tandy 1000TX badge, the reset button, keyboard port, 2 joystick ports, and the headphone jack with the volume knob. Our system is equipped with a 5¼ inch floppy drive above the stock 3.5 inch floppy disk drive, in a 5¼ inch drive bay. On the back of our system, you'll see the AC power connector, proprietary parallel port edge connector for the DMP 130 dot matrix printer, RS-232C serial port in place of the light pen port from the original 1000, and the CGA monitor output. Our system was a gift to us from Wendy, who you may know as the founder of this channel. It's in pretty good shape overall, with some discoloration and minor scratching on the top. Now that we've taken a look at the Tandy 1000 TX, let's see if it'll power on. Alright, it's time to see if the TX works. Let's find out. Today we have our TX hooked up and ready to go. It is paired with our nice CM11 monitor, giving us a nice magenta screen right now. And I already have a DOS disk in the floppy drive. It's a DOS 3.2 if anyone cares. And let's get started. We got our extinguisher off to the side. I am expecting it to, whoa. We have a memory error. Memory error info. Let's try the ever classic, turn it off, turn it back on. And now for something totally different. I'm gonna try just a soft reset. And now it works, okay, but we get a memory error again. Off, on. Well, I'm going to chalk that up as a failure. Now, it's probably not a major failure. It might be just something wrong with one of the RAM chips needing to be resocketed or something like that. If you guys have any ideas on what's going on with it, let us know in the comments below. Yeah, so that's all I have for you guys right now. So make sure to click on screen here and check out some more great first look videos and of computers that actually work. And I'll see you next time.